Corey Harrison learned he was cut from Pawn Stars the same way the rest of the world did, from a total stranger. His own father never picked up the phone. The show he'd built his adult life around never sent a single word his way. A reporter broke the news, and the 4 words Corey spoke back told the whole story of what had been quietly falling apart in that family. Stay with this, because by the end, you're going to see this situation in a completely different light than the headlines have managed to capture. And you're going to be sitting with a question about what happens when a family business loses the family part. We're going through exactly what Corey said the moment he found out, why every word of it matters, and the real reason he stepped away from Las Vegas long before any of this became public.
We'll look at what the new season of Pawn Stars actually is without Big Hoss, and whether the show that 3 generations of Harrisons built together still carries the same thing that made people care about it in the first place. When Pawn Stars landed on the History Channel in 2009, it was never really about antiques or deal-making, and anyone who watched more than 2 episodes knew it. Reality television works best when cameras catch something genuine rather than something arranged. And what the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas had was 3 generations of one actual family showing up to work together every single day. Richard Harrison, the patriarch fans called the Old Man, carried the whole enterprise on his reputation. Dry humor, decades of hard experience, and a suspicion of everything that functioned as the show's emotional anchor. Rick ran the day-to-day operations, sharp and deal-focused in a way his father had trained him to be. And Corey came in young and wide open, trying to find his footing in a world his grandfather and father had already mapped out long before he arrived. Audiences attached themselves to that dynamic because it felt lived in rather than produced, and watching Corey age through his 20s and 30s gave the show a continuity most reality television never manages to sustain. The celebrity that came with it included a nickname that stuck, Big Hoss, and the character behind that nickname was always reaching, always being measured against what came before him. June of 2018 was when the first crack became a fracture that couldn't be repaired, because that was when the Old Man passed away after a long illness with Parkinson's disease, and the show absorbed a loss it could never fully account for. The grandfather who had founded the Harrison pawn shop business in Las Vegas was gone, and what remained was Rick and Corey holding the story up between them. Most viewers assumed that arrangement would continue indefinitely, and Corey knew differently, the distance having grown in ways nobody outside the family could see yet. September of 2024 was when Corey Harrison packed up and left Nevada entirely, trading the Las Vegas Strip for the coastline of Tulum, Mexico, and the move had been building for years before he made it. By February of 2025, he put his state of mind into words that deserve to be taken seriously. "I can't play another season of 41-year-old me pretending to be 23. That sentence carries more honesty than a year of network press releases, and it names something very specific: the exhaustion of performing a version of yourself that the audience expects, while the real version has moved past it entirely. The show had a character named Big Hoss with a defined role, and that role never evolved even as the man filling it did. Burnout of that kind doesn't arrive dramatically. It accumulates quietly over years, and the people living through it rarely name it until they're already on the other side of it, which is exactly where Corey appeared to be. He didn't walk off a set in anger, didn't fire off an interview to settle scores. He relocated to Mexico, launched his own podcast called The Corey Harrison Show, and started constructing something that belonged entirely to him in a way the pawn shop never quite had. His own health had already put him through real difficulty before any of this, a serious car accident among other challenges, and none of that makes the departure surprising when the whole picture comes into focus. What he was leaving behind was a version of himself that had simply stopped fitting. News of the new season surfaced with a cast list naming Rick Harrison and Chum Lee, whose full name is Austin Russell, as the featured stars for episodes filming in 2026
and airing in early 2027. And Corey Harrison's name appeared nowhere on it. That absence would have registered as significant no matter how Corey learned about it. But the way he actually learned about it is what turned this from a casting story into something harder to look past. A reporter reached out to Corey for comment on his exclusion from the upcoming season, and his response was, "That's news to me. Nobody's told me anything." The weight in those two sentences comes entirely from what they leave unsaid. A decade and more as a central cast member of one of the History Channel's biggest reality television franchises, his father the executive face of that same franchise, and no one had managed to mention it. The family business and the family relationship had been running on separate tracks, and the business moved forward without waiting to see whether the personal side had caught up. That's the part none of the official promotion around the new season has addressed directly. Rick Harrison married his fourth wife, Angie Palushkin, in January of 2026, and by every public account, he's pointed entirely toward what comes next for the show. His silence toward his son is what viewers keep circling back to, and it doesn't resolve itself just by pointing the cameras in a new direction. Rick and Chumlee together can carry a television program, and that's not nothing. Chumlee has held genuine fan affection since the early seasons of Pawn Stars, for reasons that have nothing to do with the Harrison family name. He's funny, unpredictable in a way that plays well on screen, and the audience has a real relationship with him built over years of consistent watching. Rick anchors the business logic of every episode, and the gold and silver pawn shop itself still stands on Las Vegas Boulevard, still attracting people who walk in with extraordinary things to sell. The format remains solid, the celebrity of the remaining cast is real, and the History Channel is clearly betting that what made the show work survives the cast changes. None of that changes the original architecture, though. The show's emotional pull was never really about pawnbroking. It came from watching a grandfather explain to his grandson why a handshake matters, and from Rick navigating between the old man's old-school instincts and Corey's learning curve in real time. That three-generation tension created something that reality television rarely produces on purpose, and two of the three people who built it are gone from the show now. What remains is a professionally run, watchable program with some of the original cast and none of the original family structure. And whether that carries the same feeling is a question the audience will answer more honestly than any preview trailer will. Tulum gave Corey Harrison something Las Vegas and the pawn shop couldn't offer: a life he designed himself. The Corey Harrison Show podcast runs on his own schedule, answering to no network and no family legacy, and the distance from the gold and silver pawn shop appears to have suited him rather than diminished him. He has dealt with genuine hardship along the way, serious health challenges, and a bad car accident among them, and the man speaking from Mexico in 2025 sounds more settled than the man who spent years filming a show he'd quietly outgrown. 41 years old, out from under the weight of Big Hoss, building something with his own name on it. That's not a sad picture, even if the path to it cost him something real along the way. What actually happened between Rick Harrison and his son is a question this situation keeps raising, and the documented record doesn't fully answer it. No one outside the family knows whether a specific conversation broke something between them, whether Corey was offered a place at the table and chose to walk away from it, or whether that place was quietly removed while he was already living in Mexico. What the public record does show, clearly, is that Corey expressed burnout, relocated in September of 2024, and learned from a reporter about news his own father had never shared. Those are the facts. The story behind them belongs to a private family relationship that neither man has fully opened up about, and that silence is itself a kind of answer. The old man would have had something to say about all of it, some dry, short observation that would have cut straight to the truth and made everyone in the room feel it at once. That voice is gone, and the son of the man who grew up under that voice is absent from the show as well. What's left is a capable, professionally assembled television program with some of the original cast and none of the original family structure. Whether that's enough is something only the audience gets to settle, and that audience has been watching since 2009. Drop a comment and let me know whether you plan to watch Pawn Stars without Corey Harrison. And if you've been there since the beginning, share what the show has meant to you, because there are a lot of people in this community who feel this one more than they were expecting to.